Hello everyone, I will be explaining how to load a multiplayer map into a single player level, and this tutorial will be done on Star Wars Battlefront 2. However, um, I will explain later how to set it up for Battlefield, the first Battlefronts, and the Plants vs. Zombies games. Now let's get started. So to begin with, I'm going to open a file that's loaded in the main menu, which is, at least in the files, called front end. So we're using something called place. And it's a UI file, which is convenient. Inside of this file, there's a components area, and what I'll be doing is creating a new object, and its class will be a load player level entity data. So what you have to set here, you need to make sure that this is these flags are correct, because right now it will not work unless you get really lucky. So what I have here is a plugin called the Object Flags Calculator. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You copy paste the flags into it, and it will help calculate the necessary ones in order to work with the event connections. Because if these are not set properly, then the event connections will just not work at all. So once I have it here, I will copy and paste it back. I forgot to mention, if you don't want to use this file, you want to use a different front end file. To tell if it's actually loaded in the front end and not loaded in the front end and main menu or some other place, you just go to the bundles here. It'll tell you the level bundle, and the front end one is the main menu. But yeah, now we need to set the information inside of the load single player level. And to do that, we need to look inside of a description file. Search description. Every level has a description file, and what I will use is Bespin here. So Cloud City is Bespin, and upon opening this description file, the level name here will be copy pasted into the level name here. And what this does is it tells the load single player component to which level to load. Now what we need is the game mode. So to find that, you go to the same file, you open categories, and then you'll see the game mode section here. And then there's a bunch of game modes that are loaded onto the map, and you just copy paste any one you want. And for this one, I'll use Heroes vs. Villains. One thing to know is that you might see like mode C, which is Gem Cargo, or I forget which one it is. I think it's mode 2. Maybe it's mode 6, I don't remember. But mode 2 does not exist on the level, meaning that sometimes there are game modes that you think would be on a level, but they actually aren't. And I think the easiest way to figure out if it actually is just to find a circle data matching its name. Sometimes they're empty, like extraction. There's very little in here. There's not enough. It's not finished. So that could also be a hint too. But just keep in mind that not all of these will work. And now that you have the single player level, you just need to tell the front end to activate it, or this this file. So what I'm going to do is use something called a delay entity data. And what the delay entity data will do is, well, there's an option here called auto start, which means it will automatically trigger an out event upon whenever this object is first created, which is basically when it's loaded. And now we need to set some information for it. And like I did earlier, I'll need to set the flags back to a event connection of flags. Set that real quick. And what's really important is that the time type has to be world, or else it just does not work, at least in most circumstances. And also the client, the realm needs to be client, because this is a client activated object. And we set the client event connections, meaning that if it's wrong server, it will not work properly. But then the delay here is just how many seconds are going to go by after it's loaded. And just for this tutorial to make sure that you guys understand, I'm set to 15. And we're still not done yet. Our final step is to go into the event connections. First, we'll add a new object, or not object, a new event. And then we have source and target events. And the source event is what is giving the event, and this target event is what's um, being given, like, yeah, the event. So what we need to do is find the delay and the load single player level. And because we want to tell the single player level to load a level, we will have that set to the target. Do that real quick. And sometimes there are more than one delay entity data in a file, and you need to figure out which one it is. You just look down at the GUID, and whenever you're scrolling down here, you'll tell that they match. And we know that the delay entity data has an out event. And then based on other files, I know that the load single player level has a load event connection. And like this might work. I haven't tested it, but if you want to make sure it works, you want to make sure the event connection type is a client event. If you set it anything else, it will just not work. So it should look like this: delay.out into a load single player.load. And then make sure everything is set properly here. The game mode, time, pause start. Flags look right too. And all that's left to do now is launch. See here, it's loaded. I made a mistake. I should have used the PF prefab UI play screen. So now it's only going to work after I select the play button. But it will work regardless of the file. As we see here, it's loaded automatically into here's first villains, and it doesn't start automatically. I will show you guys in just a second how to do that. So going back to Frosty, we will need to go to the game settings container file. And what this will do is it controls how early a game starts and how many minutes are needed, and so on. So we go down to the first index, so game modes, and then these are all the game mode settings and integer settings. So we'll go down here as first villains, then go down to the game settings, so then it says minimum players to start. And normally it's 6, and then that's the how many more. So we'll just set this both of these to 1. Now upon loading into a level, it will auto start the game too. However, some of the game logic will require you to stop the end of round triggering with there like being not enough players. Yeah, that explains how to load a multiplayer map in a single player environment without Kyber, and I will be releasing a note tutorial how to do this in a little bit more tedious way, but it works on many more Frostbite games. But yeah, thanks for watching.